For 6 months, my daughter stopped bringing my grandchildren to visit. No warning, no explanation, no argument that I could remember, just empty Sundays, cold coffee on the porch, and 4 little voices that slowly disappeared from my house. At first, I told myself she was busy. Then I told myself the children had school. Then I told myself what old men often tell themselves when they are trying not to feel abandoned. They will come next week. But next week came, and so did the week after that. Still no car in the driveway, still no small shoes by the front door, still no sticky fingers on my kitchen table. Then one afternoon, my youngest grandson called me from his mother's phone. He was whispering, and what he said made me sit down before my knees gave out. "Grandpa, Mom says we're not supposed to visit you anymore." I did not ask him why. Not yet. Because children do not usually invent sentences like that. They repeat what adults are too afraid to explain. My name is Michael Carter. I am 71 years old. For most of my life, I believed a quiet house was a peaceful house. Then my grandchildren came along and proved me wrong. Each Sunday after church, my daughter Lauren used to bring all 4 of them to my house. Emma was the oldest, 12 years old, smart, observant, and already old enough to notice when adults were pretending to be fine. Caleb was 9. He could turn anything into a race. The hallway, the backyard, the walk from the car to the front porch. If there was a straight line anywhere, Caleb treated it like a finish line. Mia was 7. She asked questions faster than anyone could answer them. And then there was Noah, 5 years old, small hands, big eyes, the kind of child who could climb into your lap without asking, and somehow make your whole afternoon better. When they came over, my house changed. The kitchen became a snack station. The living room became a battlefield of pillows. The hallway became a racetrack, and my refrigerator became an art gallery. There were drawings held up by old magnets Susan had collected from every vacation we ever took. A crooked sun, a purple dog, a picture of me with hair I had not had in 20 years. I never corrected them. If my grandchildren wanted to believe their grandfather still had thick brown hair, I was not going to be the one to destroy that dream. Lauren would usually walk in carrying 2 bags, one with extra clothes, one with snacks she insisted they would need, even though she knew I had been preparing for them since Saturday night. She would kiss me on the cheek and say, "Dad, please don't give them too much sugar." And I would say, "I would never do that." Then she would look at me the way only a daughter can look at her father, like she loved me, but did not believe a word I had just said. Those Sundays were the closest thing I had to a full house after Susan died. Susan was my wife for 43 years. She passed 3 years before this story happened. Cancer took her slowly, then suddenly. That is the strange thing about grief. You watch someone fade for months, and still the final day feels like it arrived without warning. After Susan died, Lauren tried to keep the family together. She came every Sunday. She brought the children. She helped clean the kitchen. She folded blankets without being asked. She opened the curtains because she said the house looked sad when I left them closed. I used to think she was doing it for me. Later, I realized she may have been doing it for herself, too. Because sometimes grief needs a routine, something ordinary enough to hold on to. For us, Sunday became that routine. Chicken stew on the stove, lemonade in the fridge, children running where Susan used to walk, Lauren washing dishes while I dried them. And every week before she left, she would stand near the front door and say, "Same time next Sunday, Dad?" I always pretended to think about it. Then I would say, "I suppose I can make room in my schedule." She would roll her eyes. The children would hug me, and for a few hours after they left, the house would still feel warm. Then one Sunday, they did not come. The first Sunday they missed, Lauren sent a text at 10:14 in the morning. "Sorry, Dad. Busy weekend. We'll come next week." That was all. No heart emoji. No explanation. No "tell Dad we love him" from the kids. Just 2 short sentences. I stared at the message for longer than I should have. Then I placed the phone beside my coffee and told myself not to be foolish. People get busy. Families have schedules. Children have activities. I was not the center of anyone's world anymore, and that was not a tragedy. It was life. So I packed the extra biscuits into a container, covered the pot of stew, put the lemonade back in the fridge. Then I sat on the porch and drank coffee that had gone cold before I noticed. The next Sunday, there was no message. I waited until noon before I called. Lauren did not answer. I left a voicemail. "Hey, sweetheart, just checking if you're still coming. No pressure. I made too much food again, so either way, somebody needs to rescue me from myself." I laughed at the end, so it would not sound sad. No one called back. That evening, Lauren texted, "Sorry, Dad. Long day. We'll talk soon." I read it 3 times. "We'll talk soon." That phrase has a way of sounding kind while giving you nothing to hold. By the 3rd Sunday, I stopped cooking early. I told myself I was being practical. By the 4th Sunday, I did not buy juice boxes. By the 5th, I took the drawings off the refrigerator because one of them had started curling at the edges. I told myself I was cleaning, but I knew the truth. I was tired of looking at evidence of people who no longer came. By the 4th missed Sunday, I stopped asking whether Lauren was busy. I started asking what I had done. That is one of the cruelest parts of getting older. When people stop coming around, you do not always blame them first. Sometimes you sit in your own house, surrounded by things you worked your whole life to provide, and wonder if you somehow became difficult to love. I replayed conversations that probably meant nothing. A comment I made about Caleb being too rough in the hallway. The time I told Mia not to touch Susan's old vase. The afternoon, I asked Lauren if she was giving the children too much screen time. Small things, ordinary things, but loneliness has a way of turning ordinary memories into evidence. By the end of the 2nd month, I had tried myself in my own mind and found myself guilty without even knowing the charge. The hardest part was not the silence. It was the small preparations I no longer had a reason to make. No more folding the old blue blanket Noah liked. No more hiding the breakable vase before Caleb knocked something over. No more buying the strawberry cookies Mia loved. No more pretending I did not hear Emma asking Lauren if Grandpa was lonely. I was not just missing visits. I was missing the small chances grandparents get before children grow past them. The chance to tell Emma stories about her grandmother. The chance to teach Caleb how to fix things with his hands. The chance to hear Mia's impossible questions. The chance for Noah to remember my voice when he became older. That is what people do not always understand. When grandchildren are kept away, you are not only losing time, you are losing your place in their memory. And at 71, time does not feel endless anymore. A missed Sunday is not just a missed Sunday. It is one less afternoon they will connect your face with warmth. One less meal, one less story, one less ordinary moment that might have stayed with them after you were gone. Loneliness is not always an empty room. Sometimes it is a room that remembers being full. By the second month, I began driving past Lauren's neighborhood. I never stopped. I never knocked. I just drove slowly down the street once or twice, telling myself I had errands nearby. Her car was usually there. The children's bicycles were in the driveway. Life was happening, just not with me in it. That was when I understood something had changed. Not schedule, not busyness, something else, something deliberate. The call came on a Tuesday afternoon. I was in the garage trying to fix a loose handle on an old toolbox I should have thrown away years earlier. My phone rang on the workbench. Lauren's name lit up the screen. For one foolish second, my heart lifted so fast I nearly dropped the screwdriver. I wiped my hand on her back and answered. "Lauren?" There was no answer at first, only breathing, small breathing, then a whisper. "Grandpa!" I froze. "Noah, Grandpa, are you alone?" That is not a question a 5-year-old asked unless someone has taught him there are things that must be hidden. I stepped away from the workbench. "Yes, buddy, I'm alone. Are you okay?" "I miss your house." My throat tightened. "I miss you too." There was a muffled sound like he had covered the phone with his hand. Then he came back. "Mom says we're not supposed to visit you anymore." I gripped the edge of the workbench. The garage seemed to tilt a little. "Did she say why?" Another pause. Then Noah whispered, "Because you made her cry." I closed my eyes. There are sentences that do not make sense when they first enter your ears. They just sit there, heavy, unwelcome, waiting for your heart to catch up. "I made your mother cry." That's what she told Aunt Rachel. Aunt Rachel, Susan's younger sister. That name moved through me like a draft under a locked door. I had not spoken to Rachel in nearly a year, not because of a fight, at least not a clear one. Some families do not explode, they drift. A missed call becomes an unanswered message. An unanswered message becomes a holiday card with no note inside. Then one day you realize someone has removed themselves from your life and no one formally announced it. "Noah," I said gently, "where's your mom now?" "In the shower." "Does she know you called me?" "No." "Then listen to me. I love you. I love Emma, Caleb, and Mia. And I love your mother too. You didn't do anything wrong." His voice got smaller. "Are you mad?" "No, buddy. I'm not mad at you. Mom says grown-ups need space." I looked around my garage, at the dusty shelves. Susan's gardening gloves are still hanging on a nail. At the old stroller, we kept it long after the children outgrew it, because Susan said some memories should not be rushed into donation boxes. "Yes," I said, "sometimes grown-ups need space." Then I added, "But sometimes they also need courage." He did not understand that. He was 5. He only knew he missed his grandfather's house. Before we could say more, I heard a door open on his end. He whispered, "I have to go." Then the line went dead. I stood in the garage for a long time after that, still holding the phone, still hearing those words. Because you made her cry, I did not call Lauren immediately. That may surprise you. A younger version of me would have. A younger version of me would have demanded answers. I would have driven to her house, knocked on the door, and asked why my grandchildren were being kept from me over something I did not understand. But age does something to anger. It does not remove it. It slows it down just enough for wisdom to catch up. So I sat with the question first. When had I made Lauren cry? The answer, I later learned, lived in a night I had misunderstood for years. It was 2 months after Susan died. Lauren came to my house after work. It was raining. I remember that clearly because she arrived without an umbrella and her hair was damp at the edges. She stood in my kitchen wearing a gray coat, holding a folder against her chest. I was at the table sorting medical bills. Bills from doctors, bills from specialists, bills from places that had promised comfort but still sent invoices after the person was gone. Lauren asked if we could talk. I said yes, but I did not look up right away. That was my first mistake. She sat across from me and said, "Dad, I don't think I'm doing okay." I remember hearing the words. I also remember being afraid of them. Because when your wife has just died and your daughter tells you she is falling apart, something inside you wants to answer like a father, but something else inside you is too tired to carry one more broken thing. So I said what practical men often say when they do not know how to hold pain. "You have to be strong, Lauren." She went quiet. I continued sorting papers. I told her the children needed her. I told her grief would get easier. I told her her mother would want her to keep going. All true statements, all poorly timed. Lauren nodded, wiped her face, picked up her folder, and left after 11 minutes. I thought I had encouraged her. She thought I had dismissed her. For years, I did not know that night had become a wound. I did not know she had gone home and cried in her car before walking inside to make dinner for the children. I did not know she had called Rachel and said, "Dad doesn't want to hear it." And I certainly did not know Rachel had spent the next 3 years repeating one version of that story. "Your father shuts down when people need him. Your father only respects strength. Your father made your mother carry everything too." Those words were not entirely true, but they were not entirely false either. That is what made them dangerous. The most painful misunderstandings usually contain a small piece of truth, enough to make the lie feel believable. 2 days after Noah's call, I drove to Lauren's house. I did not tell her I was coming. Maybe I should have. But some conversations become harder the longer we schedule them. She opened the door wearing jeans, a navy sweater, and the tired face of a woman who had been holding too much for too long. "Dad," that was all she said. Not hello, not come in. Just my name. Like she was not sure whether it belonged in her doorway anymore. "Lauren," I said, "I need to talk to you." Her eyes moved past me toward the street. "Now isn't a good time." "I know." "Then why are you here?" "Because 6 months is a long time to pretend nothing is wrong." Her jaw tightened. For a moment, I saw the little girl in the driveway again. Scraped knees, bleeding palms, refusing help because accepting it felt like losing. She stepped outside and pulled the door partly closed behind her. "The kids are inside," she said. "I know this. Please don't do this here. I'm not here to fight." She gave a small laugh, but there was still humor in it. That would be new. That sentence landed harder than I expected. I looked at her carefully. "Is that what you think I came to do?" "I don't know what you came to do, Dad. You don't talk. You appear. You decide when something matters. Then everyone else is supposed to adjust." I wanted to defend myself. Every instinct in me rose up with evidence. The Sundays, the meals, the birthdays, the repairs I made at her house without being asked, the school programs I attended even when my knees hurt. But defense is not the same as listening, so I stayed quiet. Lauren looked away first. That was when I saw her eyes were wet. "Why did you stop bringing the children?" I asked. Her mouth trembled. Then she said, "Because I didn't want them to learn that love means showing up only when it's convenient." I stood on her porch and felt those words open something old. "Is that what you think I did?" She turned back to me. "When Mom died, I needed you." "I know." "No, Dad, you don't know. I came to you. I actually came to you and said I wasn't okay. Do you remember what you told me?" I did remember. And for the first time, I heard it the way she must have heard it. "You told me to be strong," she said. "Then you went back to sorting bills." Her voice cracked. "I was drowning, Dad. I had 4 children. I had just lost my mother. I was trying to keep everyone fed, dressed, bathed, loved, normal. And the one person I thought would let me fall apart looked at me like my grief was another problem to manage. My hands felt cold. I didn't mean it that way." "I know." That answer surprised me. She wiped her face quickly, angry at the tears. "I know you didn't mean it that way. That's the problem. You rarely mean to hurt people. You just don't notice when you do." For a long moment, the only sound was a lawnmower somewhere down the street. Then Lauren said the thing that finally made everything clear. "Aunt Rachel told me Mom felt alone too." I looked at her. "What?" "She said Mom used to say you were a good provider, but not always a safe place to be weak." I had to sit down. There was a small bench near Lauren's front window. I lowered myself onto it slowly. Susan, my Susan, the woman who knew where I kept every tool, the woman who could finish my sentences and correct my stories, the woman who used to put her feet in my lap during old movies and tell me I was stubborn enough to argue with a stop sign. Had she said that? Maybe. Maybe not exactly. Maybe in a moment of exhaustion. Maybe to Rachel, who turned private pain into permanent judgment. But I knew enough about marriage to know that loving someone well does not mean you never failed them. I looked at Lauren and said, "Your mother carried more than I understood." Lauren's face changed. She had expected denial, maybe anger, maybe another lecture about strength. She had not expected agreement. I continued slowly. "And so did you." Her lips pressed together. "I thought keeping the children away would make you understand what being shut out feels like." There it was. Not cruelty, not hatred. Pain trying to teach a lesson. Pain rarely teaches gently. Then she looked toward the front window, where I could see the shadow of one of the children moving behind the curtain. I told myself I was protecting them, she said. From me? She swallowed. From learning that love means staying quiet when someone is hurting. That answer hurt more than anger would have, because anger can be argued with, but fear has roots. And Lauren had not kept the children away because she stopped loving me. She kept them away because somewhere along the way, she decided my kind of love was too quiet to trust. Did it? She asked. I looked at her. Did what? Did you understand what being shut out feels like? I nodded. Yes. She folded her arms, but the anger had started to leave her face. And I'm sorry. 2 words. Small words. Late words. But sometimes late words are still the door. Lauren covered her mouth. I said, I'm sorry for that night in the kitchen. I thought I was helping you stand. I did not realize you were asking me to sit beside you while you fell apart. She cried then. Not loudly, not dramatically, just the kind of crying a person does when they have been holding the same hurt for years and finally hears someone name it correctly. The front door opened behind her. Emma stood there, old enough to know not to interrupt, too young to hide that she had been listening. Mom? She asked softly. Lauren turned and wiped her face. I'm okay. Emma looked at me. Hi, Grandpa. My heart almost broke from the ordinary sweetness of it. Hi, sweetheart. Then Noah pushed past her legs and ran straight to me. Lauren said, Noah, but he was already in my arms. Small hands around my neck, face pressed into my jacket. I missed your house, he whispered. I held him tighter. I kept it ready for you. Lauren heard that, and I think that was the moment she understood something too. I had failed her, but I had not stopped loving her. Those are different things. Families get into trouble when they treat every failure like proof that love was never there. The next Sunday, Lauren came over with the children. Not at the usual time. A little later. That was fine. Healing is allowed to arrive slowly. I saw her car pull into the driveway at 1:37 in the afternoon. Caleb got out first and ran toward the porch before Lauren could tell him to slow down. Mia carried a drawing. Emma carried a container of cookies. Noah carried nothing because, as he explained, he needed both hands free for hugging. Lauren stood by the car for a moment, watching them run toward me, watching the house receive them like it had been holding its breath. When she reached the porch, she did not kiss my cheek right away. She looked at me and said, I don't want us to pretend everything is fixed. I nodded. We won't. I'm still hurt. I know. And I shouldn't have kept the kids away without talking to you. No, I said gently. You shouldn't have. She looked down. I'm sorry. I opened the door wider. Then come in. That was all. No speech, no ceremony, no perfect resolution wrapped in music. Real families do not heal like movies. They heal in awkward doorways, over reheated food, through conversations that start badly and end a little softer. They heal when someone chooses to return before pride finishes building the wall. That Sunday, the house was loud again. Caleb knocked over a stack of magazines. Mia asked why old people say back in my day so much. Emma quietly put one of her old drawings back on the refrigerator. Noah fell asleep on the couch with one shoe missing. And Lauren stood beside me at the sink after dinner, washing plates, while I dried them. For a few minutes, neither of us spoke. Then she said, "Mom used to say you dried plates wrong." I smiled. She said that because she believed there was only one correct way to do everything. Lauren laughed. A real laugh. Small, but real. Then she handed me another plate and said, "Dad?" "Yes?" "Next time I tell you I'm not okay." I looked at her. She did not finish the sentence. She did not need to. "I'll listen first," I said. She nodded. "And next time I'm angry," she said, "I'll talk before I disappear." That was our agreement. Not written down, not witnessed by anyone, but stronger than many promises families make out loud. Before she left that evening, Lauren stood near the front door like she used to. The children were already buckled in the car. She looked tired, but lighter. "Same time next Sunday?" she asked. I pretended to think about it. Old habits deserve to survive hard seasons. Then I said, "I suppose I can make room in my schedule." She rolled her eyes, but this time she smiled. I used to believe silence protected people. I thought if I stayed calm, stayed useful, stayed strong, then the people I loved would feel safe. But sometimes silence does the opposite. Sometimes silence makes pain grow its own explanation. And pain is not always a truthful storyteller. Lauren thought I did not care. I thought she had simply become too busy. Rachel thought she was defending Susan. The children thought grown-ups just needed space. Everyone had an explanation. None of us had a conversation. That is how families lose months, sometimes years. Not because love disappears, but because nobody wants to be the first person to say, "That hurt me." I have learned that estrangement does not always begin with hate. Sometimes it begins with exhaustion, sometimes with grief, sometimes with one sentence spoken badly in a kitchen and remembered for years by someone who was already breaking. That is why silence is so dangerous in a family. Silence does not leave pain empty. It lets pain write its own story. The strongest families are not the ones who never misunderstand each other. They are the ones willing to go back, ask the painful question, and stay long enough to hear the answer. If this story meant something to you, I want to ask you one question. Which hurts more? Being kept away from the people you love, or never being told the real reason why? Share your answer in the comments. And if you enjoy thoughtful family stories where wisdom matters more than revenge, subscribe to Wisdom Wins Stories, because sometimes the lesson that saves a family is the conversation they avoided for too long.